Welcome one and welcome all to the ASC Colony live stream, the world's most popular underwater habitation colonization type architectural show on the internet. My name is Adam and this is Brendan. Brendan, how you doing?
I'm good. What's new with you?
Nothing, man. Um, the last time that we were on together, which is it's been like a month. It almost seems like a month. I suppose it has been because last
Yeah.
time was a you and Babe
Yep.
segment, and so you and I haven't done this in about a month. So, but this same exact comment as the last time is that once again you're hot right now where you're at, and we're in the middle of a winter storm. So,
Yeah.
so it seems that seems to be a pretty common theme. Maybe the problem is that I'm live streaming with you. Maybe I need to quit doing that so that the weather gets nicer in South Dakota.
You do you, man.
But no, what else is new with you and in the world of ASC, my guy?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about. Well, I mean, we got several things we're going to talk about. For one, obviously, it's a every other live stream, so about once a month is open forum.
Open mic
Anybody,
night.
open mic night. If the people especially the guys in Discord who are usually pretty lively, if they got stuff they want to talk about, we'll throw it in here. We'll talk about it. If they got whatever, it's and if nobody's got stuff to talk about, I always have things to talk about. So, um, but yeah, and we've got Babes in here as always.
Mm-hmm.
He's commenting on your hat there. He says, "Hey, cool hat, Adam."
Oh, hey, babe, I'm glad that you noticed that. Got a new hat that you can find. I'm trying to get that light just right. Got that cool manta ray hat that you can get from the ASC merch store. Just showed up. What was it? Tuesday? Yesterday. Yesterday, I think I sent you guys the message. I got it.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
I kept talking forever that I'm like, I need to get a new hat. I need to get a new hat, and I finally ordered one. So, yeah, I'm glad and I'm happy, and it's a good looking hat, and I'm a good looking guy, so it just works out pretty good.
True that. No, I think tonight's probably going to be a shorter one, just because usually those open mic night ones are shorter.
That's what we just need to start calling it. It's open mic night for ASC.
Are you having an earthquake over there, by the way? Just asking.
No, it's the fact that I have my foot at the bottom of my desk in meetings. Every time I adjust myself, it hold on, let me set my feet on the ground so you don't have to have that earthquake type deal.
Just making sure you weren't dealing with other stuff. But no, there's been a lot going on actually. First off, Discord. If you're obviously you don't have a lot of people in here tonight, and that's quite all right. Because as a VOD or as a podcast audio, which often these get made into as well, you can take part of it and find out this information at a later date. In which case, this is a push to join our Discord. We just had a new member yesterday join.
I think we've had a couple the past week, haven't we?
Yeah, we've actually got, I think the same people have been sort of following our YouTube channel too. So we're getting some new people on there as well. So obviously, it used to be, hey, I push to Facebook. That's where all the content is. And that's where all the content actually does go. But for that really in-depth personal communication and really to pick the brains of a lot of people, Discord's the way to go way to do it. So yeah, I definitely join our Discord. Links are on all our socials. It's in the notes of this as well, and if you're listening to the podcast, they'll be in the show notes there as well. So definitely join the Discord and join the conversation over there. Yeah, so that's my first hot take for the night.
Yeah, and I mean we always mention it at the end of the show too, but I'll just bring it up now quick. Is that you mentioned that they're going to the YouTube page and all that. For those that don't, I mean, first of all, if you listen to these in the podcast form, make sure you subscribe to it and like those. Same thing with the YouTube channel. Subscribe and like the videos because just because of the algorithms and stuff, how those things work. The more numbers we get with those, it starts pushing the stuff out organically, and we can reach new viewers, new audience, and hopefully new supporters without really. It doesn't cost us any money and it doesn't cost any time other than just, the people that support us, if they can just make a couple clicks and call it a day.
Yeah. The next point is kind of there's not even a good segue for this, but it's something I brought up in the Patreon only live stream this last Saturday. And you and me talked a little bit about it, but the idea of a newsletter. And so I'm throwing it out there. It'd be I'm thinking maybe monthly. Do you think that'd be beneficial? Is monthly too short, is long enough? What about that? And what kind of content would you want to see in a newsletter? I've already got some ideas. I've been working on a layout for it and everything like that already. But I want to throw it back at the people who would actually be consuming that content. What would you want to see, and what would you take time to actually read on a regular basis, whether it is weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever it may be? What tickles your fancy? And it may be different every month too, but what kind of content would you like? So that's the next question. You have any thoughts on that, Adam?
No, I think a lot of that, it's just another thing that doubles our expands the content and community outreach type deal. So, if it's something that people want to voluntarily sign up for and get into, then that's a good way too, because there's still, there is a demand for, or I shouldn't say demand for, there's people who like to get their updates and news like that is through, articles or, their weekly, monthly, quarterly news feeds or whatever. So, it'll be interesting to see where all this goes with that. So
yeah, and it's one of those things where back, 10, 15 years ago, I would not have been hype on this because everybody and their dog was pushing out, newsletters and emails and stuff along those lines. But anymore, now with social media, so many people have moved to social media marketing, stuff along those lines. Email and even snail mail have making their resurgence as far as popular ways of getting that word out there. And it's there is no distractions. You get what you get, and there isn't everything else in your timeline and stuff going on. So we'll see. Once again, I think Babe said it best in it doesn't cost anything, and if it works out, great. So, yeah. Next item of agenda for this evening, Patreon. One of the things with having a newsletter or anything like that is constantly pushing the Patreon, because that is one of, if not our best chance right now of getting the message out there, is because we need the funds and able to push posts, boost posts, do whatever, pay for videos and pay for images and whatever. So definitely encourage people to think about that. I know we just recently lost a Patreon member, and I get it. This is drug out longer than I thought it would in a lot of instances. So it's hard to constantly want to put money into something that isn't making as much traction as you may have thought it was going to. We kept on setting timelines out there, and it doesn't happen for one reason or another. I'm not here to make excuses about it. It is what it is. So, I apologize if the timeline does not meet up with your expectations, because it doesn't meet up with mine either. One thing when I talked to Dennis Chamberlain, like 5 years ago, that was one of his things he talked about was the funds, because that's the biggest problem, because everybody's got these ideas. They've got, some people have great designs, but finding those people to get that funding, that's where the problem is. So for now, we're going to crowdfund it or personally fund it as much as possible while we look at investors and look at different ways of getting that money in here. Thoughts on that, Adam? I'm leaving this open for you to.
No, I think that's been, the message we send every time we're on here is that, whatever help that we can get is appreciated, and, it inches us a little bit closer. And at the end of the day, where we're at right now with Patreon and like the small donations that we get, that is what that ultimately is doing right now, is helping us continue to sustain what we have and to do those, like I said, the things that we've already done as far as, like we said, we're contracting the the blueprints out that are continuously being worked on or whatever for the updated graphics that we get, the any type of travel and stuff that we got to do, or that shouldn't say you, but that you've made to do business stuff, and then we've talked about conventions and stuff like that. It takes care of like some of those like day-to-day things that help us that maybe can make the bigger connections that we constantly talk about. I mean, ideally it'd be great if we had like enough patrons to just fund it through strictly through Patreon. That'd be great. But even just the small gathering that we have now is helping get enough to do at least work on a few things. So
yeah, as Utah's got a comment on that, he's like we just need 1 million or just need 100 million. The issue is always working within the budget you have. 100% agree. That's why it's difficult, because I don't think we need 100 million. I don't think we need even a million, honestly, because we are trying to work. I've always been a tightwad with my money anyway, and I know how to stretch it a little bit. So from that standpoint, I will dig into if there's a budget and we go over it, I've always dug into my own pocket to pay that out. So I'm not too concerned about that when we don't need tons of money to get going either. But I agree. It's having that budget and sticking to it and sticking under it always looks good, not only the books, but to potential investors and whom else as well. So yeah, there is that. I had thought when you were talking there, I don't remember what it was. We'll circle around back to it. But one thing I did mention there, segues in when I was talking about Dennis Chamberlain. He had a big announcement this week that was very vague. And if you don't know who Dennis Chamberlain is, he is a guy who's a science fiction author, but he has also worked with NASA back in the 90s. And he built an underwater habitat then for NASA. It was the Scott Carpenter analog station, named after Scott Carpenter, the astronaut and aquanaut. And he's got a program called Atlantica, and he's got a website, Undersea Colonies. I encourage people to go check it out. It's not really up. He's updating it right now with all this new stuff going on. But he posted a comment in one of his threads that they've secured funding. And that's all he'll say. So I don't know what that means, except for what it says. So that'll be exciting to see what he's working on. I know he's been very. I talked to him a couple years ago, and they were putting together a group then to focus on this. And I told him that, hey, conflict of interest, I can't be involved, and but if there's anything I could do for them that didn't conflict with them, I'm all about it, because I want to support anybody in this field trying to do what they're doing. So I'm super excited to see what's going to come out of that, and hopefully we get some news on that here fairly soon. But yeah, and so then I contacted Martin over in Turkey, and we talked a little bit yesterday about it, and so he's watching it too. And segueing off of that, Hydro Lab, which is the European underwater habitat that's been over there for several years now. They've been running scientific experiments on it. They're actually pulling it out of the water. It's going to basically like a museum type of thing. So the only European underwater habitat that's been there for a while is now pulling out of the water now too. So again, one more underwater habitat is disappearing. And
that one you weren't able to visit anyways, were you?
You got to be a scientific. Yeah, you got to be a scientist.
Okay.
It's kind of
so
like Aquarius.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a much smaller than Aquarius and stuff like that too. But Miroslav, who was on that event with me a couple years ago, where we had who did we have on that? A bunch of different people. Man, I'm drawing a complete blank. Wow, you can help me out here, Adam.
I'm at a loss of words too.
Anyway, it's the heat in this room is like killing my brain, man. But yeah, Jan Koblik, Her Deepness, Sylvia Earle, and some other people were all on that thing. And so is Miroslav. He's Eastern European, and he was on there. He was talking about that as well. So
right.
Very cool. As we get into this, Zutai wants to know, what is the absolute basic you need? Foam and fiberglass, the good prototype phase, but where do you build it? Where do you keep it? Now we just need a shipping container. We need 2 shipping containers. We need land to build it on. I know where it's going. So build it, move it, drop it. That's why you don't need tons of money, but you need enough money to build, get land or a location, which I'm trying to hit up friends and stuff like that. Well, people right now to see if they've got any place either. So yeah, really, no, don't need much. And that's what we're working with our engineer about right now is at the windows and stuff along those lines too, which is the big question. And Babe's got here one. He's like, isn't HydroLab going to a place where it'll be used for space research, survival, and rescue purposes? That I don't know. I just know it's on LinkedIn. I just saw it a day or two ago that they were pulling it out of the water to move it to. I can't remember what it was, but Martin was going to reach out to Miroslav and find out more details and get back with me on that. So I should be finding some more stuff out here pretty soon on the details from him, since that's his thing is HydroLab. Anyway, back to Dennis Chamberlain. So the one thing about it I will say is it's something we've been predicting. He's been predicting. A lot of us is over the next few years, you're going to see more and more of these popping up. And whether he's first, whether Martin's first, Fabian, Planet Ocean Underwater Hotel, us, whomever it may be, whoever's the first one to get one underwater, the rest will follow, because at that point in time, if it's proven to be a financially feasible model and not just government funded, investors will be more apt to jump on board too. So it's those first ones to show that it can be done cost effectively and turn a profit are going to be the ones that help the rest of us make this thing happen.
Yeah. There's some that I think are going to struggle more than others, but I think there's certain designs out there, like a lot of the ones that we've seen were more smaller and practical, more efficient, and like where we've talked about manufacturability and stuff. Like we've seen a lot of the designs that aren't even like necessarily associated with companies that have this grandioso design to them, and it's just like I think that's still a ways out.
Yeah, it's something else we've talked about. That you have to start somewhere, and too many people are wanting to start, at the top, and instead of building that foundation, it may be an ugly foundation, which basically what we're trying to do here is it's not going to be pretty, but it'll serve the purpose. It'll be usable. We can always pretty it up after the fact if we need to, if we get the extra funds and stuff along those lines. But getting it out there, getting it in the water, testing it, make sure it works, and moving from there instead of shooting for the stars. But at the same time, I get it too. You have to show the investors something that they want to see. They don't want to invest in a tin can, and people are going to find that sexy. And that's, we've also talked about how one of the problems with this is living underwater isn't sexy. We haven't made it sexy like we have space. And so that's why there isn't that attraction to it too. So it's a two-edged sword here where, what do you do? Do you build ugly, cheap and make it happen? Or do you go full bore and throw out a Poseidon Underwater Suites or whatever it was that Bruce Jones was trying to do, which was gorgeous and huge, but it's $300 million or something like that to build. It's just not feasible. Maybe it's like, if it can be sleek, usable, and safe, yeah, pretty will happen later. And I'm not saying we can't make it pretty.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Yes, pretty is objective too. So I'm a minimalist. I want minimalism. I want like rough edges, square edges, stuff like. I don't like roundness, but some people love the round and a bunch of stuff going on. And so it's really an objective concept. And that's why we'll have to just tackle that when we get to it. But let's just get something built first off, and then we can deal with the aesthetics of it all.
Yeah.
But anyway, but after hearing about Dennis's news, it's like, what is he doing different than that we're not doing? You know, obviously he's got contacts and he's got legitimacy because he's done it already. So he's got that going for him. But where are we dropping the ball? What are we not doing? Who are we not contacting? And where's that problem fall? That's once again, that's on me, and that's something I'm trying to figure out. And so just want to throw it out there. What do we need to do? What do we need to do to be either funding secured, or to be moving further along than we are? I've been putting more and more hours into ASC here recently, trying to figure that out.
I think one of the things we've talked about on live stream and off a lot of times is being able, like, if we can find more ways to, we've talked about conventions and stuff, which could provide some good opportunities, but it'd be awesome to be able to get those face-to-face conversations with people that could potentially help the project. You know what I mean? Where sometimes, like, the email doesn't do it justice. The being able to talk over the phone isn't always just the best, but like being able to, I don't know, just having like a personable type conversation with an individual and really being able to just discuss what it is, and then also they get a feel for like who you are as a person as well, which I mean can make or break a lot of things. So you and I have discussed a lot about how every form of communication has its pros and cons to it, and one thing for sure is that each one has a con to it, where I think the best positive thing you can do is have that face-to-face, but just a lack of places you can do that. So hopefully being able to find something like that. This time it's not me touching the desk, by the way. It's the cat that's shaking my monitor, so I apologize.
Yeah. So yeah, it is. It's one of those things that we can, but still, even if we hit all the, and play devil's advocate to an extent here, even if we hit every venue or where out there, not sure. It'll be nice once we get some 3D printed models to be able to show off exactly what we're talking about and put something in the hands of people as well. I think that will definitely help, which hopefully we should have some more news on that next week.
I didn't tell you. I think I'm going to buy one too. So
cool.
If our first option doesn't go, I'll hopefully be able to figure out too. So,
and also, babe, I get emails where we're going on the show. I see what you did, and you and me will talk later. So, yeah.
What?
Zutai's got at your shallow testing depths. I almost wonder about an inflatable option, giving just layers of plastic and canvas blown up. Yeah, that's what Michael Lombardi has. He's basically got a basically tent underwater. And that's what his habitat is. So yeah, that's what Michael Lombardi's doing, and obviously that works for him. That's not where we're going, and that's not where our focus is. So that's why we're going with the shipping container.
You'd put so much more, like just out, not as much, but you would, whatever limited resources we have, I would much rather put towards the shipping container than having to construct the inflatable design. I think because I think your startup and your overhead would be pretty similar.
I don't know about that, but my concern is that it doesn't. It's great for divers, but it defeats the whole purpose of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. It doesn't depict our model.
Yeah, it's not our model. It's not what we're the vision we're trying to put forth, and it's doesn't coincide with our core values of what ASC is. So, I would love to try one out sometime. I think it'd be pretty cool to see what that's like, but it's not for us. But you're on the right path there, because obviously that's how Michael Lombardi feels about it too. I need to touch base with him again. It's been a while since I talked to him. So, but yeah, that was about the only stuff I had. I'll, go off of people's comments in here too. We can talk about whatever from here on out. I will, while we're waiting for any other comments to come in 2 weeks at our next live stream, we're going to discuss locations for underwater habitats. Obviously, we've got, our couple picks right now, but there's so many options out there. I also want this to be kind of open too. If you've got ideas for different places, wherever in the world, I'd like to hear about them too, but we'll definitely have some talking points. And Zutai wants to know why a shipping container, a tent starting as a prototype, then later fiberglass could help with iteration, because it doesn't meet our, like I've said multiple times, it doesn't meet what our core is. That the whole purpose of this is the grandma option is to make it as easy for you to walk from here to the nearest hotel as it is to go spend the night underwater. And an underwater tent's not going to do that. And obviously we won't be there with the shipping container right off the base, but it lays that foundation. It tests out a couple of the design elements that are mandatory to make that happen. And we can iterate off of that at a much easier and cost-effective thing, because we know what the cost of a shipping container is. So we can buy a bunch of those and just do that. So,
and the structure, a majority of the structure is already built into it.
Exactly. We just have to reinforce it minimally, which would just be like framing out a house pretty much, which we have to frame out either way. So in the process of framing it out for building inside, you're reinforcing it. And we know it transports fine because they transport them every day. It's a universal design. We produced multiple videos on this. I think I've been thinking about producing another one just for the Discord channel on this, because it's a question that keeps on coming up. And even though we've discussed it multiple times, it constantly keeps on coming up.
Sorry. Maybe is what a theme of one of these live streams should be, is how we came to the decision of that, or how you came to the decision of that.
Well, we because you probably one, but yeah,
you've had to have gone through a lot of different types of what about this, and like why this has been kind of like all right, this is how we're going to target this now. Is
because when we first came, I wasn't sold on the idea at first.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even when I first started helping out, we hadn't discussed the shipping container deal.
No, that came up through some random conversation. I remember you had, so it's actually your idea, and then we just kind of grew from there. I don't even think you meant for it to be what it is. I think you said something, and that went from that.
I mentioned basically what we're kind of already doing, where you model around it in a way, and that's kind of essentially what we're going to do.
Yeah. Shipping containers cost more than tents, according to Zutai, which, yes, obviously.
Like, if you go to Walmart, you're going to be able to buy a tent a lot easier.
Also, no need to limit the size of a normal tent. Building a tent that works like a shipping container may be the cheapest option. Maybe, but it's not scalable, once again, with our business plans. Like I said, let me make a video on this, what we got to. Like Adam said, maybe we'll do a live stream on it, but I'm definitely going to make one for Discord, and we'll throw it on YouTube and stuff along those lines.
Yeah. I get where he's coming from.
100%.
Even because wasn't one of the things that there's some company out there that's working on, like, they want to do that with like the International Space Station, don't they? Where they want to put like inflatable. Well,
Bigelow was going to do that, and they kind of went under. But Bigelow was a company that was doing something similar to that. So absolutely, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, and it's not an option. It's just not the option that we're choosing to go with. And we're. I'm open to input and stuff, but at the same time, this is the vision, this is the path for ASC, and that's how we're going. So it needs to coincide with that. Like I said, I would love to see somebody build one like that. I think it'd be cool on a bigger scale than what Michael Lombardi's got. I think he's got multiple sized ones, but still, I think it's like smallest one you can pack up like pretty much like in like a carry-on, pretty much, and take it wherever you need to go. But yes, I guess you could have like a circus tent underwater. I guess you really could if you put one on. Anyway, we're going to digress and go down another path there with that. But yeah,
I don't know how you're going to get the elephants down there to do the hoop tricks, but
we got the manatees for the sea cows.
There you go. That'd be awesome.
But no, it also goes with the modularity of what we're trying to go for too. It's a threefold approach that it's cost effective, modular. I don't remember what the third prong is right now, but yeah. So that's kind of why, because once we get to phase 2 and get to the deeper models, that's where the shipping container comes in more. And if we're already building with that in mind in the shallow version, it makes that transition to the deeper model that much easier. A circus tent pub with plenty of shipping containers docked. I mean, I can see it. I see it in my head right now. You got docking collars all around that thing. Yeah. I think your problem is going to be the pressure at that point in time. I mean, you'd have to layer and layer and layer, like you said, to keep the pressure out. But it's not undoable. So that's it. Once again, that's a cool concept. Gets the old wheels turning there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like it. Maybe it'll be version 4 or 5 or something like that. We'll implement that into it. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to find out when we get the prototype in the water and see what plays out. Because that is one of the things that even with the shipping container is that we've talked about either covering it in a bed liner for your truck and some of those lines to give it waterproof it, as well as give it a little bit more structure to it. I've never announced this. I think I drew a picture of it one time. I can't even find the image anymore, but the idea of a in-depth fiberglass covering around the shipping container to make it sexier and more modern looking is in my head, which doesn't affect the structure any. It just makes it a much cooler looking thing. And from then I've got some ideas on really expanding from there. The Zutai got at 2 atmospheres of pressure, you should be fine. Local pressures, deeper fiberglass can be used to stiffen and even make it stronger. So are you being ambient pressure then, or what are you doing inside? Because like I say, all of our habitats are going to be 1 atmosphere unless there's a reason to do otherwise. So then your pressure differences start to make a difference. So yeah,
I was in a R&B group called the Ambient Pressure in high school.
Oh yeah, I would love to hear that single.
Well,
did you make it on the MTV show where they're making the band?
Yeah. They made the wrong one.
Oh, okay. I love that show.
Shutting down the studio.
What's Babe got here? He says it's going to cost a lot to pressurize a large tent like that.
It makes me...
at shallow ambient would be the goal to save on tent cost. What do you say, Adam?
As I say, it reminds me of, bear with me because I am going to make the connection here. I know you're not much of a football fan, but the Minnesota Vikings are technically the home team here in South Dakota. But anyways, their old stadium had a canvas dome on it, and it stayed inflated because of they would pressurize the stadium or whatever, so that kept the canvas dome up. And then I don't know how long it's been since this happened, but the dome all collapsed because too much snow gathered up on it, and they couldn't keep it pressurized enough, so it just tore a hole in it and just destroyed the roofing of it. And so that's made me think of the whole thing that we're talking about here.
Well, yeah, but once again, if you go back to the idea of layering it with
right,
whatever, whether it's fiberglass or whether you do the what's the name for that? It's the Secrete type of stuff that put electrical current through it. It makes its own concrete from salt water and stuff. You could do that and build up a solid around it. Then you wouldn't really need the tent. You'd already have that structure. So yeah, it's a interesting concept. Yeah, that's a really good concept. Somebody needs to run with that.
Not us.
I mean, well, I say, I'm struggling. We're struggling enough doing what we're trying to do now. I don't need to be
taking on another endeavor.
Yeah. So anyway. But yeah, to Babe's point, the cost of pressurizing a large extent like that. Yeah, once again, I think it depends on the size of it and how deep it is too, because you're going to be pumping an awful lot of air in there to keep that thing in pressurized. Unless you are at ambient pressure, then it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But if you're trying to stay internally at a one atmosphere and you're dropping there below it, Dave's got getting the right power source would offset the cost.
Well, and that goes with any design really, is having the right way of powering the habitat as well.
And that's one thing I watch a bunch of like EV related YouTube channels and stuff along those lines. And they were promoting this company that makes, basically Tesla has what's called a power wall, which is basically a battery bank that you can get for your home or for your business that offsets your power because it takes solar power or whatever and stores it for you. Well, they make another company that makes similar ones to that, but obviously they're different. So I thought about reaching out to them and see if we can't work out some kind of partnership there, for them putting them in the habitat type of thing too. It'd be because I've always thought about having like Tesla power walls in the habitat anyway, but it doesn't have to be Tesla. It just needs to be some sort of battery backup system either way. And if we could work with somebody like that, that's probably got some capital too, that might help it as well. So I was trying to find that video today with a link to them, but I haven't found it yet. So that's another option too, because redundancy is key. I think that Jules has like 2 or 3 redundancies on their system. It's loud. I don't think David can see it, but yeah, Thane took me into the room the first time I was up there with my kidney stones. He took me in there, and I got to see all the generators and stuff on those. Like, it's a big old room, so it's pretty cool.
Which I'm assuming is at the shop.
I mean, there's like the little
or a building
trailer.
by it.
Yeah, it's by it. Yeah, it's another. And so I was saying, even for our designs, we're going to need a shipping container to live in, and then like a separate shipping container that's going to have all your redundancies and stuff like that in it. That's going to have to go with it too. Jutai's got so many power systems have heat issues. Dumping the thermal load into the water around you should help the life. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we look at data centers and energy storage, all that type of things, because of the thermal conductivity of water and how it can strip away that heat and not only save money by having to keep it cool, but also it generates marine life around it because of that heat coming off of it as well. So saves you money, expands the life span of the systems, and it also will help the marine life around it. So that's why any of us, whether like you guys floating on the water or whatever, or underwater, using that water to our benefits is a no-brainer. It's key. Anyway,
I like it.
So yeah, that's we got that coming up. I'm pulling up the schedule here. So we got location for underwater habitats next time. Then we'll have another open discussion. But I may undo that open discussion and make it a video talking about what we were just talking about, why we came to the idea of the shipping container. And
it won't be a video. It's going to be like one of those old slideshow projector things that we used to have that you had to sync up with the audio tape in the background. Yeah. Then you boop to flip the screen.
I'll use those thermal overheads where you can see my fingers right on the screen.
Yeah. They were still using those when I was in high school.
So yeah, and then it's like next month we'll have a progress update. Hopefully we'll have some more progress at that. So we kind of giving you guys updates as we go along anyway, but I'd like to give an episode dedicated just to it, my feelings about ASC, where we're at, and what's going on with that, because it's been a roller coaster, guys. Yeah. It's not always a good roller coaster too.
Yeah, I've been on some crappy roller coasters.
Yeah. Like that pirate ship that goes back and forth. I would never do that thing. I'd be so sick on that stupid thing.
I could do that. It's the spinning ones. And eventually I'd be like, nope, get me off.
The ones that go backwards and like you're pushing 0 to like the Mr. Freeze at Six Flags in St. Louis, and you go like 60 miles an hour and then it doesn't reverse. I about threw up on that sucker. Anyway,
that's not a roller coaster though.
It is. It's a roller coaster.
You said the pirate ship a minute ago, though.
Yeah, no, but the Mr. Freeze, yes.
All right.
Anyway, we start closing out. If we got more questions coming, we'll address them. But close this thing out.
All right, hey man, what about Atlanta Sea Colony? That's where you can find us. If you're looking for me, that is where you'll find me underneath the sea. AtlantaSeaColony.com. Hey, we have a thing over there. Oh, hold on, before I get to it. On AtlantaSeaColony.com, we have all of our socials on there. There's this crazy thing kids are doing nowadays: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Discord. Old people call it social media.
I don't think any of the kids are on that. All the kids are on TikTok and.
They're doing the Facebook and all that. We don't have a MySpace. Don't need that. Doesn't seem to work anymore. Anyways, you can find all of our social medias on that. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, go to our social medias, like them, comment, interact with us there. The YouTube channel, subscribe to that. Like the videos there. If you're listening to this in the podcast form, make sure you're liking and giving the reviews and all that. That helps. All that does is helps us get some more organic growth because the algorithms will push our videos out to someone that's watching something related to water, and they'll be like, hey, what's this Atlanta Sea Colony thing? We've all fallen down YouTube rabbit holes before where you're watching one video and you're just like 3 hours later watching something that you never meant to watch. We could be those people.
Wake up halfway through the middle of the night. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah. Also, link to our Discords in there as well. Like we just said, we have a lot of good discussion that goes on in the Discord community. One of our commentators tonight, Zutai,
he lives in there.
He lives in the Atlanta Sea Colony.
His job is just Discord, I think.
He keeps the conversations moving. So
absolutely.
No, it's like I said, we get a few new members every week, it seems like, and a lot of good discussions there. And we even have a couple channels in there that we can just talk about, like, what's your favorite like aquatic movie or video game, stuff like that. It's a fun deal. Speaking of such, Brendan, on the resource page of the AtlantaSeaColony.com has a lot of good books, podcasts, and YouTube channels that you want to check out. If you have suggestions, get hold of us. We'll throw them up on there. And by we, I mean Brendan will. Also, the merch store. Like I said, I bought this really cool hat. So AtlantaSeaColony.com/merch. So yeah, shirts, mugs, office supplies, just a little bit of everything's on there. Brendan could use a tank top right now because it's so hot. I could probably use another. One. Start wearing it. Anyways, Brendan could use a tank top because it's so hot where he's at, and I could use a hoodie because it's so cold where I'm at. And guess what? They're both available there. Hey, and some good water bottles. So this summer when you need to stay hydrated in that hot weather, we got them there too. Also, patreon.com/Atlanta Sea Colony. We talked about that in the middle of the show as well. So if you have the ability and you want to give, go to patreon.com/Atlanta Sea Colony. We have our patrons already: Brian Acosta, Matthew Cathy, Martin Reese, and S. Babe Hyde. So thank you guys for all that you can do to help us. We appreciate that greatly. And different tiers. So, if you want to give a little or give a little bit more, we have the different tiers and options for you there. Brendan does a monthly Patreon only video. So a lot of times if we have something fun to say or something important, it's going to go up there probably first. So also Discord options as well in there. Nobody's really jumped on those options yet, but you can through that. So check those out. I feel like I'm missing something, but no, I think I got it all. So
I'm going to answer these questions real fast. And here Zutai's got one. Obviously, where you been, man? I mean, you live in the Discord, but you don't know what's going on. What's up? I mean, no, I'm just giving you crap, man.
Not watch the intro video?
yeah. No, so like Babe chimed in here and answered it actually. But yeah, it's it's a two-part structure. There's a base that gets put on the ocean floor first, leveled, and then the habitat gets anchored down to it and stuck in place, and it ain't going nowhere.
And then you can just go in the
exactly like that.
That's how we've been trying to explain it to investors, and they're just like, I didn't.
And Babe says he's running his 1 atmosphere tank right now. Very cool. That's why I need to get one of those for the gym.
It's such a like, the way you say that, I don't like it. It's so pompous. Like, I need to wear it to the gym. Yeah, just be like, hey, everybody, you see my biceps and my Legacy Colony hoodie? Oh, hey, Wiley, long time no see, my friend.
Yeah. Is he going to be a patron member?
Hey, man, remember? No.
And Zutai's got, what about deeper waters that you can't build strong enough to take 2 miles of?
Oh, there's nothing you can't build strong enough.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't plan on putting anything. I personally don't plan on putting anything that deep. There's not much purpose of doing anything that deep. But yes, for the deeper models, there is a reinforced hull design for deeper models. But once again, I don't foresee, if we had to go that deep, we'd have to obviously re-engineer everything. But that's not in our roadmap currently at all. So I'm not even focused on going that deep.
So like, for some reason I was thinking granted 2 miles is insanely deep. Like, I don't see the benefit of why anybody would want to do that anyways.
Unless you're like doing mining or some insane scientific research or government crap.
Yeah, that's about the only thing I could think of. Because I was trying to think of like the Marianas Trench, and that's 7 miles.
And then Dave says that was SpongeBob and Patrick explaining ASC. Your explanation. And yeah, Zutai, yeah, I know that your guys' focus is floating structures. And I say, and there's going to be the need for that symbiotic relationship for floating structures with what we're doing too. This is even if structure is hanging off the surface or floating structure, because we're going to need topside support, especially at first, for anything that we got, because we're not going to be self-sufficient at the very beginning. So any communication, power, air, all that kind of stuff is probably going to be coming topside for the first couple iterations at least. And once again, you're not going to want to be down there 24/7, 365. You're going to want to get out and stuff. And if you're further out in water, you're going to need to go somewhere. So when I go up to your friendly seastead and hang out and spend a day on there, or a night or whatever like that. So it's going to be one of those things where we can do stuff that, hey, we can be the garbage for the Sim of the Sea says. We can have habitats that are just energy or waste reclamation. Don't have to have people in them.
I was really wondering where you were going with that. Like, that's not a good marketing thing. Be like, we could be the garbage.
No, but I mean, we could. I mean, we're underwater.
We could be the municipal storage.
Yeah, you don't want to waste
garbage,
precious real estate in power generation. Well, underwater habitats will take care of it for you. And Zita says he'll keep the beers cold and the music loud.
Hey, keep it down. The manatees are trying to sleep.
That's right. I'll be in my underwater habitat, so I don't have to listen to it. Anyway, I mean, we can chill out here for people, especially if people want Wiley's still stick around. I think that perked Babe up there a little bit there. But no, you're talking about the perks for Patreon, and one of the things is nobody does. But I'm going to start forcing people to take these perks, and that's one thing I'm going to have a conversation with Babe at I'm forcing a perk on him because people need to be taking advantage of these things I'm putting out there for people. What? Don't,
like, if someone isolated that sound bit, perks is a slang for Percocets. It's drugs.
Yeah,
like,
I understand.
I'm force him to take Percocets.
Anyway,
don't want to be canceled.
I wouldn't be the first time. I fought with when I had that logo. Remember, for so long.
Yeah, I remember that.
We fought the whole cancel before, and I fought the law.
The cancel one,
which is still out there in some of our stuff. I keep on finding it and having to remove it.
Yeah.
Especially so much of our old videos have it on there, and I'm not just going to go back and replace it. I'm not going to mess with it. It is what it is.
People be like, years in the future, they're going to go back on it and be like, see, I told you.
Yeah.
These guys.
Well, I want to know if you're vaping over there, Adam.
Who, me?
Yeah, because your drink looks like a vape. Because all you can see is like the little spigot.
No, it's just it's just a jar with some juice.
Grape juice.
Yeah, it is actually. It's some of those drink mixes things.
Anyway, we have completely fallen off. Like, if you guys want to hang out here and chat about nonsense, we'll stay around. You know, I'm fine with that. But you're more than welcome. We have wrapped up our talking points for this evening. So at this point in time,
we
can talk about.
It's open mic again.
I mean, it always was, but I always try to have stuff prepared in case nobody wants to be vocal out there.
What's with these airline foods?
What do we do about grape nuts?
About what?
Grape nuts. It's like something. It's like a. Well, what's the deal with grape nuts? Are they grape or are they not? It was like some stupid joke thing several years ago. It's supposed to be
now.
It's supposed to be Seinfeld talking about it or something.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big Seinfeld fan, so. All right, we're gonna close it down, guys. There's a bunch of people in here. Yeah, if you know where to find us, get on Discord. We'll talk to you over there.
It's the opposite of we're gonna do it live.
if you're really special, you can get a hold of me privately and talk to me that way too.
Yeah, don't. Once again, you gotta not say certain things the way you do.
Hey, I'm trying to be open. And I'm trying to be transparent.
Our contacts are on the ASC website. So
yeah. Which, by the way, I'm getting ready to redo the website. I need to keep on talking about that. I got two websites I'm doing for somebody else right now, and then when I get those done, I'm redoing the ASC website. So
yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. It's been fun. We'll see you. We'll see you in 2 weeks. We're talking about some more fun stuff. If not, hit us up on our channels. Hit us up on Discord. Adam, I'll talk to you later. And babe, I'll be messaging you. So, bye, guys.